Hello, everyone. Welcome to WDBJ 7 Plus. I'm Michaela Shelton. Happy Friday. It is almost the weekend. Hopefully, you're having a good day so far. We've got a lot in store for you today. We're going to take a look at your First Alert hometown weather forecast. I'm also going to have an interview with a local woman who is really giving back to the community. She is helping students with special needs and also the elderly community by making homemade fidget mats and fidget toys for them and donating them to the local community. But first, we want to take a look at your local headlines, your top local stories that our reporters have been working on. The first one is about school testing anxiety. We know testing is right around the corner for students all across our hometowns. And Kyra Willis, one of our reporters, spoke with teachers and a mental health expert about test anxiety. Take a look.
This is a big problem that we don't always know because it's a hidden struggle that students don't know how to tell us that they have it.
Dr. Tram Hun is a clinical psychologist who says symptoms of test anxiety can show in many different ways. She says the anxiety in younger kids will show up as a stomach or headache with refusal to attend school. And sometimes older kids will usually blank out during a test, storm out of the classroom, or quickly try to rush through it so the anxiety can go away.
They are smart students, but they think that they can show it because their brain shuts down when they sit in front of the test. They think that this test is going to reflect their future. It's such a high-stake situation for them. They shut down. They can't access what they have learned.
Dr. Hun says the best way for parents and teachers to help students manage the test anxiety is to offer plenty of reassurance, confidence, and always review the material with them. Something teachers like Tammy Dye are already practicing.
I just try to give them things to do to kind of combat that. Take a break, take a breath, sit there, stop, close their eyes, kind of just breathe. I teach them how to do like a brain dump, and they just write down everything they can, dump it out of their brain before they even start taking that test.
China Jewel is an elementary school teacher who likes to use the REST acronym. It encourages parents and teachers to review material with their students, show them exhaling techniques to use when testing, strategize how you'll help them study, and tell them they got this no matter what.
Just telling them that, you're happy that they're trying their best. Because after all, and teachers tell them this too, a test is just a measure of learning. Same with SOLs. It is a measure of how much you have learned and what you need to learn so that we can use it as teachers. It's not a mark on you as a person.
Because it's okay to be nervous for a test, but not letting it stop you from performing is key.
Yeah, great reporting there by Kyra Willis and some great advice for kids that are having some tests coming up. I know I had really bad test anxiety when I was younger and probably still would today if I was still in school. All right, next we want to take a look at a situation that happened in the Shawsville community. This was about a train that was stopped in a neighborhood for about 15 hours, blocking people from coming in and out. So WDBJ 7's Lindsay Cook went out there to kind of explain the situation and what happened and why the people were so frustrated.
People are going to say, you move to the other side of the tracks. What do you expect? You're going to be inconvenienced by a train. And we know that. We understand it. We accept it. And we have been inconvenienced over the years many, many times, but never for 15 hours.
Pat Meyer says the Norfolk Southern Railroad that runs through her neighborhood is part of the reason she stayed in this home on Newtown Road for 50 years. She doesn't mind the near dozen trains that pass her house every day. She does mind when those trains suddenly stop in the middle of its tracks on Newtown Road. It's the only way in or out for herself and her neighbors.
We have a lot of people in this neighborhood that are elderly. We have pregnant ladies. We have a new baby. We have people with heart conditions. And we have people who need to get out and go to work. They have a livelihood.
Meyer says sometimes it happens often. Sometimes it won't happen for months. But this weekend, waiting 15 hours was far too long. She called that number you see on your screen, and the only response she got from dispatch was, "We don't know when it will be fixed."
For the train to be broken for that long with absolutely no regard for the people who live in this community, it's just unacceptable.
Norfolk Southern says in a statement the train experienced a mechanical issue on Friday that required a locomotive to be brought in from Roanoke. We never want to inconvenience communities with a blocked crossing, and we appreciate the community's patience while our teams worked out a solution to get the train moved. The county hopes to work with the railroad on a solution. For Myers and her neighbors, the concern is if there's an emergency and a stopped train at the same time, it could be dangerous. That's why a solution is necessary. In Shawsville, Lindsay Cook, WDBJ7.
Yeah, quite a frustrating situation there. Another frustrating situation that I'm sure everyone can relate to are the gas prices that we're seeing. And we've got a big Martinsville Speedway race coming up this weekend. It's a big NASCAR race. I'm planning to go myself, and people are having to travel miles and miles to get to this race, you know, coming all the way from New Jersey, just states that are really far away, and are spending a lot in gas money. And so Brian Richardson, he actually went out there, and he's going to tell us how these gas prices are impacting race fans.
It cost hundreds of dollars for some NASCAR fans to make it to the track one way from Florida.
And we spent $600 on diesel fuel driving up from, like I said, South Central Florida. And it was anywhere from $5.05 was our cheapest diesel, all the way up to $5.85 a gallon.
New Jersey,
about $300.
And North Carolina.
It's twice as much what it used to be. So, you know, it's just spending more money and it's not as much fun.
AAA says diesel in Virginia cost $5.47 on average. That's up from $3.57 last year. But that's not all these campers need.
Diesel to get here. So that's a must. You got to have food, that's a must. Then of course you're going to have drinks. And then you got to pay for your tickets and pay for your camping. So you're going to have to pay for it all anyway. You know, even though you don't like the cost, you got to pay for it.
For some, the extra gas price is manageable.
When you really get down to it, it's not a whole lot difference in price. $1 a gallon, if you take 40 gallons, it's $40. It's not like you're spending an extra $1,000.
It'll affect some people and certainly affect everybody somewhat because that money has to come from somewhere to get you here.
But tickets go on sale a year in advance. They were already committed.
They renew them when we're here for the next year, but Martinsville is very reasonable in their prices.
And the prices are rising around them. They won't miss the race. For WDBJ7 in Martinsville, I'm Brian Richardson.
All right. Yeah, really looking forward to that race this weekend. For our last story, it's actually a pretty big story all across the country. We're talking about data centers, and there's one that is actually coming to Botetourt County right up the road, and Google is the parent company over that. And so our reporter, Colby Johnson, has more on Google's plan and hears from them for the first time.
Guarantee you that Google is at the point of the spear associated with efficiencies for water usage and for power usage.
One of the biggest concerns about the data center is its projected water use. Google says its water use will meet regulatory requirements. It also says it will work with the Water Authority to explore multiple options for cooling at the site. A Virginia Tech expert told me in January that there are ways to cool data centers without using a lot of water. One way is to reuse the heat they produce for central heating.
Instead of thinking of heat as an unwanted byproduct, we could actually put it to use. Instead of me having to burn gas or use expensive electricity, I could use some heat that was generated already by computation or the CPUs, the chips in the data center.
Google says the quality of water in Botetourt will allow it to circulate water multiple times through its cooling system, reducing how much it needs. It also says it will fund the expansion of Virginia Tech's water monitoring research to include Carvin's Cove. Google says it will also pay for solar and battery storage installations in other parts of Southwest Virginia. The company released a statement Thursday that it says in part that its goal is to drive innovation while protecting local resources. It says it will invest in the local workforce and support regional grid reliability. Botetourt County says the millions of dollars it will get from Google could be used to help build a new high school or renovate the Botetourt Technical Center. Its public safety departments have already benefited from Google money.
The officers now have body cameras as a result of Google. That was something that was brand new to them and an opportunity that came in the fall. And so that's being paid for. Also, heart monitors for the ambulances.
Despite opposition to the project from some, Botetourt County says it will be a monumental win for the future of the region.
And that was Colby Johnson reporting there. Those were our top local headlines for your Friday. Don't go anywhere. We will be right back after this quick break for a look at your hometown weather forecast with Tanner Brammer. Stay with us. All right, welcome back to WDBJ 7 Plus. I'm Michaela Shelton, joined now by Tanner Brammer, our meteorologist here at Channel 7. Thank you so much, Tanner, for being here with us today.
Yeah, thanks for having me on.
Yeah, of course. So we want to definitely talk about the weather today. I know when I was walking into work, it looked dark out there. It wasn't raining yet this morning, but it looks like it certainly is about to. So, Tanner, what do people need to know as they get their day going today?
I'll tell you what, if you do have any plans either this afternoon or this evening, it's going to be one of those situations where you really want to keep an eye on that first alert radar because we are expecting rain across more hometowns than not as we head into this afternoon. But as of right now, not really seeing much of anything. You can see on our live shot of downtown Roanoke that we are seeing some pretty cloudy conditions as of right now, but no precipitation to talk about at this point in time. The precipitation for Roanoke probably going to hold off for at least a couple more hours, but there are some showers trying to make their way into parts of the Allegheny Highlands as of right now, but you can see a look at the current look at temperatures, it is a little bit of a widespread. You can see 47 degrees in Charleston, West Virginia, but we're still nice in the upper 60s and low to mid 70s across our local viewing area. And Michaela, I know you're a fan of the warmer weather, right?
Yes, absolutely. So the 70s looks great to me.
Yeah.
I can't believe it's that warm already though outside.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, it's going to be one of those weird days, unfortunately, where we're probably going to hit our daytime high earlier rather than later. You know, we're at 74 right now in Roanoke, but the temperatures later this evening are actually going to drop. Now, a current look at satellite and radar, you can see not really all that much to talk about at this point in time. A couple of showers trying to make their way into parts of the Allegheny Highlands. That's about it as of right now. Like I said, for most of the Roanoke Valley, New River Valley, those showers are probably going to hold off at least for a couple more hours. Realistically speaking, probably talking about a late afternoon time frame that rain really looks to enter a lot of our hometowns. You can see at about 3 o'clock here, some of those heavier bands of rain could very well take shape. It's probably going to be closer to about the 5 or 6 o'clock time frame that will see the most widespread of that precipitation. That's why I was saying, if you made any plans later in the day today, might not be the worst idea to maybe postpone them if at all possible, because it is going to be one of those evenings where more hometowns are seeing rain than those that aren't. Now, it is also going to be one of those days where there might be 1 or 2 cities that are left out of the party, might not see much of anything at all, but just about all of us will at least see that chance for a measurable amount of precipitation as that cold front makes its way through the region. Probably going to be out of the region, probably closer to about 10 or 11 o'clock later tonight. And you can see that cloud cover will really start to clear out overnight. But I've included a look from the Storm Prediction Center for that severe risk that we're expecting for today. Now, this is that light green that's associated with what the SPC calls just a general thunderstorm risk. This is essentially just saying that there could be a couple of weak storms embedded in some of these lines of showers, but basically little to no severe risk with any of these storms that form. Just some thunder and lightning, maybe some slightly gusty winds. That is about it. But that cold front is also going to bring in some colder temperatures overnight tonight, probably down into the 30s across most of the region, which is very different from what we woke up to earlier this morning. Now, those winds are going to indeed pick up behind that cold front as well. Probably going to be some breezy winds overnight tonight into early tomorrow morning. Good thing is, though, those winds do look to subside a good bit as we head into the afternoon and the evening. But with those gusty winds combined with those chilly temperatures, even though it is late March, we're probably still going to be talking about some pretty cold conditions as we're waking up early tomorrow morning. Air temperatures down into the 30s. You can see those feels like temperatures down into the 20s and even the mid to upper teens in a couple of hometowns. So going to be feeling a little bit like winter early tomorrow morning, which is part of the next big thing that we're giving you that first alert on. That cold front bringing in some cooler and overall drier conditions into the region for this weekend. I will say Saturday after about 11 or 12 o'clock will be a lot more comfortable. Still going to be a little bit cool Saturday afternoon, but not nearly as frigid as what will feel like that morning. I will say, though, if you're wanting to make any outdoor plans either Saturday or Sunday this weekend, Sunday is probably going to be your best bet because that will feature the calmer of the winds and the warmest of the temperatures. And then in case you're one of those warm weather fans, we're looking to warm right back up as we head into most of next week. Talking about some 70s returning as early as Monday, and then we're really going to start to see those temperatures crank up as we head into the middle of next week. Could be talking about some 80s returning to the forecast as soon as April 1st next week. So maybe a couple of cool days that we got to get through this weekend before we really start to feel good going into most of next week.
Okay, yes, April. We love to see that.
April coming in with a bang, I'll tell you what.
Yes, I'm excited. Oh my goodness. You know, you mentioned you were talking about you might want to change your plans today, this evening, because of the weather. It's funny because my friend messaged me this morning and was like, hey, would you want to go to a rooftop restaurant tonight for dinner? And I'm like, well, according to our weather team here.
Yeah, may not be the best idea. I mean, it may be one of those things where you may be able to get by for like an hour or two without that rain specifically over Roanoke. But yeah, to Michaela's friend, if she's watching, don't be surprised if you do end up getting wet if you guys go out to dinner.
Right. Well, and I will say this one in particular, it does have an indoor part as well as the rooftop areas. So it's like we can go.
Yeah,
but
just,
we might
maybe
not be
stay
on the
inside.
rooftop. So we'll have to see. Who knows? You know, it might go out just in time for us to get out there and eat some dinner. But I'm looking forward to those 80s though. The 70s next week is just looking gorgeous. So yeah, awesome. Well, thank you so much, Tanner. I really appreciate it. Don't go anywhere. We will be right back with a sit-down interview with a local woman who is really giving back to the community, helping people with special needs and the elderly. See just how she's doing that right after the break. Hello, everyone. Thanks for joining us here on WDBJ 7 Plus. Next week is the start of April, and with that is the start of Autism Awareness Month. And so I wanted to bring on someone who is very special. Her name is Brenda Strickland. Hey, Brenda, how are you doing?
Hi.
Hi. Yeah, so Brenda, she is a Pennsylvania County local. I met her, what was it, a couple years ago, I think, when we first did a story about your project. She is actually working to help and, encourage people with special needs and also the elderly community as well. So, Brenda, first of all, just kind of give us a little background on yourself and on your granddaughter, who I know also has autism as well.
Well, I am a retired teacher, and my granddaughter is nonverbal autistic, and I really wanted to figure out a way to help her and to help all children or people that have neurodiversity issues. And so I started making fidgets for them. And I do a lot of author talks because I've written a book. And I do a lot at retirement homes. And they have memory care units, and I take them fidgets there also because it's very helpful for people with dementia as well as autism. And my girlfriends, who we call the Saltines, helped me make these fidgets, and I just delivered my 500th one a couple of weeks ago.
Yes. Wow. That is a huge milestone for sure. Congratulations on that. Talk a little bit about these fidgets. I know you've got a couple right there with you, and, kind of how they help people with, neurodivergent abilities, and then also people who, are older or just need something to fidget with.
Yes. Well, I was told about, how these were helpful, and I've had special ed teachers call me wanting to buy them, and this is my project. I would never sell these. This is for them. And autism and dementia, both, it's a sensory disorder. And here I am fidgeting with the beads on the snake. And so it really does help them. And I have, a lot of them, like different types. I had a special ed teacher tell me her students were obsessed with these hedgehogs. and here's some with the feathers. And so it just, this one is called a fidget mitt, and they can put it on their arm and fool with it. So it's just different types. We have the mats. I even have taken to nursing homes like lap blankets that they can fidget with while they're sitting there.
Wow. Yeah. And they look beautiful. They look so fun. How long does it take you typically to make one?
Well, it just depends. And I've had some health issues, so I've had plenty of time to sit and do them. And it really, like I said, it just depends on how complicated it is. And the snake's pretty fast. Of course, Mr. Hedgehog right here, he's a little more complicated, and it takes a little bit longer on that one. But it just depends, and like I said, I enjoy it. It gives me pleasure, and I'm just glad I can do it for these people.
Right. Yeah. And so, where did you first get the idea from to create these? Was there a lot of research that went into it, or did someone kind of encourage you as well?
Well, no. I just kind of did research on my own because I wanted to be able to help my granddaughter. And by the way, she can say Granny B now.
Oh,
I'm so
yay.
tickled.
Yes.
And I wanted to help her, and through research I found where you could, make the fidgets, and it really helped them, and they enjoyed them. So I just solicited my friends, and we just started making them.
Yeah, I love it. And talk about your granddaughter Mila a little bit, and what she's like and how she reacts to these fidget toys.
Oh, well, she is the most beautiful child in the world. And I guess if she had 3 heads, I would still say that.
No, she is. She is the cutest little thing. You send in pictures, and oh boy, has she grown, and she is just adorable.
I know, I know. She is happy. She's fun. and she loves her fidget. She loves she's into Pokemon now. She likes to um, get the little figures and line them up and, and everything. So she's still kind of noise sensitive, and a lot of autistic children are, and they have to wear headphones. I know I have numerous students over the years that wore them in class, and so she's just great. And as my son says, autism is not cancer. It is just another way of being, and she will have a superpower one day.
Yes.
Einstein was autistic.
Mm-hmm.
And so there are many, many autistic people who have superpowers. And I know she will also.
Yes, yes. It really is just a different way of thinking. And, they have different needs and are accommodated differently. And, there's nothing wrong with that at all. You've just really taken advantage of making these, for people that could use the additional fidgeting and have something to maybe as a distraction or to calm them down even. So it's really incredible the work that you're doing for the community. It really is.
Thank you.
And so if people would like to get one of these for maybe a family member or even for themselves, is there a way that they can go about doing that?
Yes, they can contact me via social media. I have two uh, um, Facebook accounts. One is called Moonshine and Saltines, and the other one is under my name, and they could private message me, and I would be glad to meet them or mail some to them.
Okay, perfect. And we will actually put the page up right now that people can see the Facebook page. Just go there and send her a message. All right. Well, thank you so much, Brenda, for joining us here
Oh,
on
you're welcome.
WDBJ 7 Plus. Was there anything else you wanted to add at all?
No, but if there's one thing with April being Autism Awareness Month, just remember that, and if there's any way you can contribute to help these people, I sure would appreciate it.
Yes,
Because
absolutely. I
they are
remember.
special.
Yes, yes. I remember the last time we did an interview, your big message was to just be kind. And I think that is just
Yes,
so important, not
yes,
only this month, next month, but every month. So,
yes,
all
yes,
right. Well,
please.
yes. Thank you so much, Brenda. And thank you all for watching. We will be right back with more here on WDBJ 7 Plus after this. Thank you so much for staying with us here on WDBJ 7 Plus. I hope you enjoyed today's show. Again, we are live every day, Monday through Friday, here on WDBJ 7 Plus at 11 a.m. I am actually off on this upcoming Monday, but we will resume as regularly scheduled on Tuesday. And then from then on at 11 a.m., we also have our weather show every day, Monday through Friday at 2 o'clock. Yes, 2 o'clock. Yeah, we changed it from 2:30 to 2. It goes until 2:30. And then our Hometown Sports Huddle show, that comes on at 6:30 on weekdays. But if you're not able to catch us live, you can also watch us back on demand from your smart TV, your phone, your website, your computer, wherever you are, whenever. And I actually want to take a minute to show you where you can go to view those episodes and shows of, Hometown Sports Huddle, the weather show, and my show here. So let me show you that now. This is our website, and so if you go on here, this is our homepage right here, and you'll see up here on this tab, you've got the WDBJ 7 Plus tab right here. I'm going to go ahead and click on that. I wish I could highlight it somehow. I don't know that you can see my mouse, but it is up here underneath the big WDBJ 7, and it says WDBJ Plus, and you just click on that. And then you'll see all of our previous episodes come up here. So you've got last night's Hometown Sports Huddle. You've got also the specials that our anchors and reporters are working on to kind of compile all of their franchise pieces. So, for example, you've got Hometown Eats, Niecy Payne's Grown Here at Home, Hometown Health, all of our big series that we do weekly and monthly. Those are compiled into specials that we recently launched. So this is Logan's recent Hometown Eats special, and then you've got Niecy's Grown Here at Home down here. And then, yeah, any of our episodes that you've missed will be right here under this tab. And it's the same thing for over on your TV. If you just go to our WDBJ7 app, then you'll see on the tab, it'll say WDBJ 7 Plus. And essentially what's on the website is going to go over there too. So you can watch us any way you want to on any platform. So thank y'all so much for watching. I hope you have a great rest of your weekend, and we will see you back here next time.